Alright, so part 2 of the video. I'm doing this myself, so I don't know how many every time I hit the wrong button. So this sway bar fits really close. If I were to reach up in there, I can put about one finger between the top of the sway bar and the bottom of the oil pan. So I think if I hadn't changed those motor mounts, I probably would have definitely had some interference. Speaking of interference, over here, this bracket, that's awfully close, almost touching the bar. That little part sticking out was a ABC line connection. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to bend that off, possibly cut it off. It allows you to do that before the bar went in. Speaking of underneath here, I've taken all the ABC lines out. I'll talk some more about that in a little bit, but right here is the power steering line. You can see this. There's no place to put this bracket. I did the power steering conversion, took the tandem pump out. I didn't like how this line's running here. I did put, though, so this mount, this was one of the ABC line connections. Cut the top of the bracket off so I could set the power steering line in it, and goes to an existing mount on the oil pan, zip tied together. Give this line a little bit of support as it comes along here. Again, that's the original power steering line. While I'm down here, trying to think of anything else, I did drop the exhaust. With the motor mounts, I went ahead when I dropped the subframe down. I, of course, had a jack under here. Dropped it down about 2-3 inches in the front. The motor mounts popped right out the back, so it's super easy to change. Now I did, if you see right there is one of the subframe bolts. There's 4 total. These subframe bolts are the same size as well as the flex disc bolts. So in the back, I ran the bolt up in there, took this one out, ran the bolt up in there and used that as a guide pin on both of the back ones to help center the subframe. Of course, you can't do that on the front because you've got to put the sway bar in and in through the front area. You'll notice so over on this side, we're on the passenger side. Both inner fenders in the front need to come out to do this job. This pump, this is the rest pump, circulates the hot water fluid. The heater just bolts there. I had to take that off to get the sway bar in. Obviously I haven't reattached it yet. If you're curious, there's the intercooler pump, and I believe this is secondary air injection. I plan to delete that at some point. See my BBK. I had the struts in here when I dropped the subframe. So to drop the subframe, I just loosened the bolts up, or the nuts here. Actually took them off, let the strut drop down, and then of course had to guide them back in the hole as I got everything put back together. So over here, I'm on the driver's side. You can see where the sway bar goes in. Right where the sway bar is, there's 2 ABC lines. They used to run up here to where the valve block, front valve block was. Those have to be cut off or removed. I removed mine. It was a bear of a job. This is the line. I had to take the line out in pieces. So the line runs back